Hello, this is the game between Maghsoodloo and Firouzja. So white is on the move here. If you want to take a pause, I guarantee you can't find this, and also Firouzja didn't see that, and that is why he blundered here. So first thing, when I teach you, if you look my previous lessons, you know that for Operation Blitzkrieg we need to accomplish some things, but here Firouzja, I mean Maghsoodloo didn't accomplish anything, but he entered in that, so he sacrificed some of his pieces. So knight f7 is the first move. Really something what black didn't expect here, and that is why this operation, I call it that Operation Blitzkrieg. Why? Because strike fast, strike deep, with idea to attack directly on the king, and other pieces can't enter in to defend the king because they don't have time for that. So for example, if now black capture that, we can play queen b3, and now the problem for the king is he can't go on e7 because of bishop h4. If he goes on g6, then we have f5, and after king h6, probably bishop g3 would be a nice move with idea to attack the king even better. So again, white king, black king will be in front of other pieces, so that can be good for black. Okay, after knight f7, some parameters for attack. We can say that usually you need to prepare for position before you start Operation Blitzkrieg, but this position is kind really unusual, and because of that, white did something like that, and black didn't expect that. Even that move will be even bigger surprise for black, because other pieces from white side are definitely undeveloped, and they are not in some position that can attack the king. But as we can see here, white is really able to do that. So that is why queen d5 to cover the diagonal, but now we can just simply return the knight and we earn one pawn. Okay, after knight e5, now the position is kind of again difficult for white. He needs to choose f takes or d takes. Definitely d takes. Why? First, if black exchange now the queens, then we have one pawn more. Second thing, now when we capture with the d pawn, we have 2 pawns on the king side, and we can start with 3 steps. I mean, with attack on the king side, but we need to have 3 steps for that. We need to accomplish. So 3 steps for successful attacks attack are take the space, put the pieces on the side where you want to play, I mean on the king side definitely, and then open position on that side. We will see how Maghsoodloo will do that. So d takes on e5, and now of course black captured the pawn on a2 because it's a free pawn, and he returns the material. After that, bishop c3. Why bishop c3? First, if we want to push f5, we need to protect the pawn on e5. That is first thing. Another thing is we need to take more space, especially with that bishop. He is now on really nice diagonal, especially after we push e pawn. So then we will see how powerful could be this bishop on c3. Okay, queen d5. Now, if we want to attack, definitely we don't want to exchange the queen. So next move for white is pretty much logical, queen e1 to avoid it. And then b5. So now black wants to attack on the queen side, which is totally logical because he has more space on that side. And usually with space, you can get more activity. So for your pieces, of course. So with b5, yes, he wants to kick the bishop from that place. And now first position for us, how to continue this position, because black is threatening really b4, and after that we must move the bishop. If we move the bishop from the diagonal, we can't play f5 anymore, and without f5, of course, we can't attack on the king side, and one thing leads to another, so definitely we won't have that good position anymore. So we need to stop b4 somehow. If we play b4, then he will trade, and when we move the bishop somewhere, then he can trade our heavy piece. So without heavy pieces, of course, again, we don't have some good attack. So what should we do? First tempo move. Tempo move is rook d1. So we will move the rook and then b4. So queen c4, and now we will sacrifice that pawn. So now, as you can see, three pawns on the queen side for black. We don't have anything, so 2 pass pawns. Connected pass pawns, but for them he needs to spend a couple of tempos. For example, a5, a4, a3, b3, b2, and then he must stop because for b1 he needs support, but after a2 we will capture that pawn. So definitely he needs to spend at least 6 or 7, maybe even more moves here to achieve something on the queen side. On the other side, we have perfect position now to push the pawn on f5. So brilliant position for white, brilliant idea with rook d1 and then b4. So everything is perfectly set up for us to attack on the king side. We have space advantage, but it's not enough. We need to put the pieces on the side where we want to play and then to open. We will see how. So rook c7 then. With rook c7, black wants to move the bishop, on better diagonal, because this diagonal is completely closed for the bishop, and bishop on c8 could be some good defending piece. Then f5. Of course, we want to continue with attack, so f5 is strategically the most important move here, and now we can continue with attack. Especially we are interested for e6, then we will open diagonal for the bishop. Bishop c8, and then e6. Queen a2. Now queen a2, maybe it's not the perfect move for black, because after next move we can see why, and that is queen g3, tempo move. Still black can't capture the knight because we can capture the rook. That is why queen g3 is so powerful move, because we will move the queen on better place, definitely. Now the queen is on the side where we want to attack, on the king side. She's doing something, and also we unpin the knight, so we can move the knight also, so perfect position. Rook b7 and then knight f4. As you can see, black is putting the white is putting the pieces on the side where he wants to play. He's building position on that side, and now he's threatening maybe f6, powerful f6, because then he's threatening f7. No, he's not threatening f6 because of the pawn here, but maybe knight h5 and then knight f6. Yeah, knight h5 with idea knight f6 or then f6. Then he can capture with the knight here. Who knows, but something like that, definitely. So bishop d6 to exchange that, because this knight could be really powerful on that side. And after that, queen g4. Queen g4, we are interested to push the pawn on f6, so that is why we unpin this knight, and we are giving some support to our pawn on e6. But take a look at this position. So there is a queen, there is a bishop, and there is a rook who is protecting or attacking that pawn. Once when we push the pawn, he will immediately try to take that pawn on f6. Also, this rook is doing some fantastic job, we can say, because he's holding his weakness, and that is the pawn on g7, because we are threatening checkmate maybe in some moment. So bishop f4, we capture with a queen. We need that queen on, or maybe we need this rook on f1. So that is why queen f4. And also we are interested to push the pawn. So again, we need to move the queen, because that would be tempo move maybe after he capture here on e6. But we will see. So for now, queen f4. Maybe this is not a final destination of our queen. We will see. Rook f8. Maybe this is not the perfect move, but okay. Then queen e5. Much better position now for our queen. And I think now we are threatening to play here e7, and then we will capture the pawn here, so that will be checkmate. So after e7, he can resign the game practically. So that is why rook e8 to stop that. And then perfect idea for white. Okay, this rook is doing something here. He's holding this position, we can say. That is why rook c1. He wants to play rook c7 to cut off this rook, and then he's threatening again checkmate. I think this is kind of unstoppable for black. But Firouzja found here queen e2. Now he wants to bring the queen on g4 and then to protect again this pawn on g7. And that is how he will protect the queen. I mean the king. Okay, now we have again Operation Blitzkrieg. So, like in the first move, knight f7, now we can again sacrifice something. But now we have perfect position for that. We have pieces on the board who is doing something actually, not like in the first position. So now we have the bishop, the queen, we took the space, everything is kind of active on perfect position. So now it's time for us to create some storm, we can say. So rook c8, he capture. And now the best move here is d7. After that he can resign the game, because we are threatening checkmate. If he takes that, we will take, and then again we are threatening checkmate, and we are also threatening queen e6, and then to capture the rook on c8. Or maybe he can... oh yeah, we are on the move, so d7, and after queen g4 we can just simply checkmate him. This is checkmate because he must capture, we will capture, that is checkmate. So, unstoppable d7 move, and e7, sorry, and the game is over. But Maghsoodloo played here f6. We can't say this is bad move because still this is winning position. I think probably because low of his time he played that move. I mean, he saw one variation how he can win the game, so why to risk and to search another one just to spend the tempo or to spend the time for that when he can just play something what he's already thought calculated that will bring him victory. So f6, then queen g4 again, f7 tempo move. We're attacking the king, and the king can go here because that will be checkmate, so king f8 is only move. And now it's easy to calculate because everything is tempo with check, and what else black can play. So after bishop c5, rook e7, we will exchange that, and then we will promote the queen, tempo move again, we are giving check, and now finally we will stay with one rook more. So this is completely winning position. This rook stayed here for the game. White didn't move him, and probably this is good decision because this rook is also covering the king. So as long our king is safe, we can be active with our rest of our pieces. So with the queen, for example, in this case, this is already totally winning position. So we can expect that black will resign soon. Okay, we capture the pawn. Now a6 to protect the pawn on b5. We check him because we want to capture this pawn. If he goes here to protect this space, we can bring the rook in the game. So that is why king e6. And after queen b6, we will capture that pawn. King d5. We capture the pawn. Now he wants to capture our pawn, but we can defend it. And then we have lovely space, a lovely place for our queen on d4. So king c4, queen d4, and now he resigned the game finally. So what we can learn from this game? First thing, take the space with your pieces if you want to start Operation Blitzkrieg, but this is one rare position where maybe white didn't need to have that 3 steps for successful attack, so he started with Operation Blitzkrieg immediately because he had maybe that's some rare position where he can launch such attack without preparing position. So knight f7. No, I mean Firouzja didn't expect that, and Firouzja is one of the best players in the world. So it's really hard to see that. Okay, but 3 steps for attack. So first, take the space. We took the space with d takes on e5. That is important. That is the one of key moments in the game. So he chose to play on to play on the king side. So d takes on e5. Now he has double 2 pawns on the king side who can be really active, especially after f5. I mean, this is must play move if you want to continue with attack. So but for that he needs to put the bishop on c3. Queen takes on a2, then bishop c3 to support that pawn. And second maybe key moment in the game is when we bring the queen in the game. So queen g3, really important move, and then we bring the knight in the game. So everything looks really nice here for white. Kind of that we put the pieces on the best place because we have dark square bishop, we put the pawns on light square. Now we activate the knight with idea knight h5, probably with strong idea how to continue this game. Probably there is a couple of ways how we can achieve something here or to give checkmate. So that is why black decided to exchange that knight. But we have a lot of other pieces who can attack, and especially those pawns are really active, and they can be so powerful in attack. So take the space, put the pieces on the side where you want to play, and then open position. How you can open? When you exchange the pawns, and second way is when you sacrifice something. I'm calling that Operation Blitzkrieg. If you liked this video, please subscribe, and see you in the next. Bye bye.